Okay, so round 4 is film and TV, and first we have Phil.
Ooh, hello. So for my round on film and TV, I would look at Tony Curran, who, for those who don't know, played Pete Townley in Armored Force, and also Vincent Van Gogh in Doctor Who. He also voiced Captain Macmillan in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, for anyone who's interested. He acted in 2 films, both based on adaptations of the poem Beowulf, The 13th Warrior, and Beowulf and Grendel. Also, years later, funny enough, he played Bjornsson in Thor: The Dark World, who was Odin's father. Obviously, the red hair and Glaswegian accent made him perfect for the role as a Viking.
See you, Jimmy.
Smash in the head. Let's go, Viking. Sorry, you can cut that out. And on the topic of the 13th Warrior, which is said to be one of the biggest movie flops of all time, budgeted at 160 million. At the time, only Waterworld and Titanic had cost more. It is estimated to have taken only 61 million worldwide. The film was riddled with mistakes, from issues with geography, costumes, armour and weapons featured that were set centuries before their invention.
Can you tell us anything else about the 13th Warrior? Because I don't know anything about it.
To be honest, I've not seen it in a very long time, because when you watch it, you go,
that's part of my life. Game of Soldiers.
I'm not getting that back.
Okay. And is there what's the plot?
I can't remember that.
Presumably there are 12 warriors and then they somehow come up with a 13th. I'm guessing something along those lines. But I mean, multinational? I'm going to stop asking you questions then. Okay.
The gentleman in question is quite a high-profile actor, definitely in Britain, and obviously he's branching out to international now. His role as Vincent Van Gogh in Doctor Who is one of the best.
That's fantastic.
He was so good at that.
Yeah.
And he is in all of 5 seconds of Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah.
And unless he may well be featured in future Marvel films, maybe they were investing in the future, but he's in that. I think he blows up an ice giant.
He's not even credited.
Is he not?
He's not even credited.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
But he comes out
He
with
comes
the
out
staff,
holding a spear, doesn't
and then
he?
he puts the ether in wherever he puts it, and that's it. You never see him again.
No.
He wears a very distinctive horned helmet, though.
Ooh, there's a topic.
There's a topic. Well, we won't go into it.
If only we were going to talk about that at a later date.
And just the idea of a Glaswegian just nutting someone. I'll stick that broadside in your face. Yeah, it's just funny.
Grand. Okay, so we've got Max next.
Do that with a bit more energy.
Right, Max, you're up next. What have you got for us?
Oh, how energetic, Kirby. My topic for film and TV is the movie 1066, The Battle for Middle-earth. Produced in 2009, it was a 2-part miniseries produced in the UK in 2009. It was a pretty typical depiction of the 1066 battles, i.e. King Harold versus the Vikings, and then he had to go all the way down to fight William the Conqueror on the Battle of Hastings. It was praised universally for its use of historically accurate extras, all their weapons, armour historically accurate, and lack of CG in large-scale battles, unlike other large-scale battle films of the time. However, it was subtitled The Battle for Middle-earth for no fucking reason whatsoever. It has nothing to do with Lord of the Rings. Some of the later iterations of it were just called 1066, and if you see 1066, then it's definitely worth a watch, but for some reason they just stuck the Battle of Middle-earth on the end of it. They received no issues from EA, who created a video game series called The Battle for Middle-earth. I assume it was done to cash in on Lord of the Rings, but that's about it, for no reason whatsoever. It just made me chuckle when I read it.
I'm really sorry, mate, but there is a reason why it's called Middle-earth.
Why?
Because Midgard translates roughly to Middle-earth, and that's what...
And I would agree with you.
However,
1066 is not focused on the Vikings. It simply features the Vikings as 1/3 of the combatants.
Ooh,
if it was literally centred around the Vikings, around the Viking pantheon, then yeah, I'd agree that Middle Earth would probably work. But from all I can tell, from all the sources I could find on this, they just chucked it in because it said Middle Earth and they wanted some of that sweet Lord of the Rings cheddar at the time. Yeah, I would agree with you, but
Okay, well that was my only tenuous grasp at trying to explain why they might have it in there, but
There was apparently no explanation.
Cool. Laura, you're up next.
Okay, so Thor versus Thor. We're talking Marvels versus the myths. So Marvel, as we've referenced already, Thor Dark World, on in Avengers, etc., etc. And there is quite a lot of differences between the Norse mythology and the Marvel character. For example, Marvel's Thor has long flowing golden locks and is typically quite clean shaven. Thor of the Norse myth was noted for his red hair and red beard. Marvel's Thor flies through the air by whirling the hammer Mjolnir. Norse Thor prefers to travel in style via his chariot drawn by the fierce goats Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder.
Sorry, I beg your pardon?
So the actual mythological Thor drove a chariot headed by two fierce goats
Okay.
named Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder.
Where was the third one? That went trotting across the pitch.
Oh, see, I thought it was like you've got Tooth Natter, which is basically the aggressive one, and then you've got the one that's always biting back the sarcasm. Oh, one of these days. One of these days.
He's always so angry.
In mythology, Thor needed a magical belt and gloves that give him the strength to wield his hammer. Whereas in Marvel's Thor, he only occasionally needs to use these items in any of the comic books, and they're not referenced at all in the Marvel films. Both Thors are ladies' men, although in the films he falls for a mortal named Joan
Rivers. Please be Joan Rivers. Please be Joan Rivers.
Marvel's Thor fell for a mortal nurse named Jane Foster and the Asgardian goddess Sif among his loves. But the actual mythological Thor, a bit more of a wimp. Got married to the Lady Sith, still had torrid affairs with the likes of the giantess Yarnaxa, and even wound up being the proud papa of at least 3 children from his various affairs.
It's quite impressive with a crushed pelvis. You've got to assume you've got a crushed pelvis from getting it on with a giant.
And finally, the
Are you
biggest...
basing this on Futurama?
Yes. Entirely.
And finally, the biggest difference from all the looks, etc., is their actual characteristic traits. Marvel's Thor, quite a good guy, all heroic and noble warrior and all the rest.
Totally would, wouldn't you?
Oh, yes.
That you'd all feel safe and sort of woo over.
As if he would protect you, hold you in his arms.
Yeah. And what arms? Oh dear.
Whereas,
Is it getting even hotter in here?
Really?
I didn't think that was
Possible.
possible.
Are you
Yeah.
just my fan?
I don't think
Oh, I've got a sweater.
Chris Hemsworth. Whereas the...
No, Thor, damn it. Don't ruin it.
Put on the outfit! Put on the outfit!
Talking your weird British accent.
I'm quite uncomfortable with this.
whereas the...
Your mortals are so tiny.
Thor, put on the wedding dress. Put on the wedding dress, Thor.
Oh, there is a film of him wearing a dress, though.
Thor?
No, there's a film with Chris Hemsworth wearing a little, summery dress and making his pectorals dance.
Is this the same realm as Balls on Face?
I think there's a difference between video and film. Film indicates feature, as in this is entirely what the film is based on, and video is Chris Hemsworth having a bit of a joke with his pectoral muscles.
So, whereas the Marvel Thor is this heroic warrior creature, the Norse myth is a fierce warrior with a violent temper who would seem to revel in the slaughter of any who would challenge him. Not gonna lie, would like to see a film involving Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder whilst he releases his fury.
Is anyone else picturing strings of tin cans coming off the back of his chariot while he's in a wedding dress, throwing the bouquet over his shoulder?
Just
Battle
slaughtered.
axe bouquet.
Just viked. No, there is a weird consistency in the naming of things by the Scandinavian myths. The Scandinavian Christmas myth involves a number of dwarven people, so not the elves that help Santa Claus, but little dwarven people, and they are literally called pot licker, spoon licker, door sniffer. I swear to God, go online, look it up. I think they're called the Yule Lads. Seriously, Google it. Stop the podcast for just a second. Google it. It's worth it.
Vikings had fun.
They did.
Oh.
Viked all over the show.
They do sound like Essex boys, though. Bottle
Spoon
licker,
licker.
spoon licker, door sniffer.
And Bad Man Ting.
And Jamie Oliver.
Yeah. And Jamie made
Jamie Oliver.
Jamie made 3. Cool. Did you want to add in anything else?
Well, I could go into the other ones, but I'll just be dragging on. I'm just going to stick with Thor.
I think we got good mileage out of Thor. So
I think we got a good mind.
I think we did well on him.
So that was round 4, film and TV. Are we going to go with Phil's Tony Curran, Born Viking? Are we going to go with Max, Lord of the Rings, 1066? Or are we going with Laura's Marveling Gods?
I'm going to go with Laura.
Aww.
I think that was interesting.
Grand. Laura, who are you going to go with?
I think Max wants to vote first.
No, I was just thinking.
I'm going to go with Lord of the Rings, 1066. It makes me happy inside.
I hate it when they vote politically.
Yeah. The issue is, I'm a big fan of the actor that Phil was mentioning, so I am actually going to have to vote
For Tony
Phil.
Curtis, Born vote. Not Tony Curtis.
Tony Curtis.
There's a film.
Tony Curran.
Tony
Born
Curtis is Bolg.
Cool. I'm quite liking this having a 4th vote in because it means we don't have any ties anymore.
Yeah, you can always
This works.
tiebreaker.
And I also think Laura's quite interesting there, so I'm going to go with her.
Yep, that's fair.
Congratulations, Laura. You
Nicely
have
done.
won round 4.
Thanks, Chris Hemsworth. I owe it all to you.